morning, Super Kicking with Stephen and Greg fans, your favorite two hosts right here. Stephen A, 1181, the Wiz over there, Greg rocking out there, and we are ready to go. Got some WrestleMania notes and news. We got some AW Grand Slam to talk up, got AW Weekly shows to talk up, all the good stuff. But of course, first let's do a quick check in. Greg, how's your week been? How's the weekend going?
It's going off. It's off to a good start. Uh, Same stuff, pretty much, just work and just grinding.
Yep.
But it is what it is. We got an adult, which sucks. But we're we're here. Might as well have a good time with it. So it's all good.
Yep, we're on the road to WrestleMania, on the road to Revolution. We got some fun stuff coming up. So, yeah, plenty to talk up. Let's just get right into it. My week has been pretty good. I did go home sick on Wednesday, so that was pretty awesome, but felt better the rest of the week. So, hopefully, that is all I will get as we have been hit with a sickness like none other around here. So, it has been in and out daily with kids and staff. So, yeah. Lysol the heck out of your house. Open up them windows. Get some fresh air going. Yeah, wash your hands, as they say. So yeah. But we have some WrestleMania news and notes. This first one really caught my eye, Greg, because they said the Wrestling Observer is mentioning that Jacob Fatu versus Solo is not currently scheduled for WrestleMania 41, as WWE already has plans to book one of them in a different match that weekend. I'm very confused by that because I don't know what other direction. Maybe I'm all in on Jacob winning the U.S. title, but it just feels like they have to go one on one at WrestleMania, doesn't it, Greg?
Well, it's kind of the vibe I was getting. Yeah, um, it seems to be quite a bit of friction between Jacob and Solo now. Um, in the back of my mind, I was thinking they're going to smooth it out and get back on the same page. But after SmackDown, it's like,
Yeah.
maybe not. This is
A super kick to the face where Jacob didn't look um,
yeah,
too sad about it. So, and this could just be a red herring for us. Maybe
yeah.
just to throw off the scent, but I'm very I just don't unless now maybe with the Rock stuff, Craig, could Solo be the de facto person that the Rock is trying to get groomed, in his place type deal? Because if you watch the SmackDown press conference, the Rock said, "Hey, me and Cody don't have to have a match. We're just kind of the actors in the story, and maybe there's other parts to be played." But
Hmm.
so maybe you do have Solo in there somehow as we've talked about a long time. Hey, why isn't The Rock just the tribal chief of that new bloodline since they're all kind of young guns? And, it makes sense if he'd want new blood in there. So, yeah, but I'm very, I'm very surprised. Now, I guess if you don't do it now, Greg, then you have time to let it percolate and cook, as they say, for the summer or something like that. Maybe you wait for SummerSlam. But
Yeah.
that accidental super kick got me thinking, oh, we might be on the and Solo or Jacob has not been saying I love you, Solo. He's been doing a
Hmm.
lot of Fatu, but then Solo said, "Hey, I love you, Jacob." So I just think this has to be the plan.
It, you'd think, but I think that it's too soon,
Yeah, I
considering
think too.
Jacob's only been, the new number one for probably less than a year or right
Yeah.
around a year,
Mhm.
and brought in, Fatu and the Tongans,
Yep.
and that whole faction has only been a unit for less than a year. So we've had enough time to get acclimated to the visual and get a sense of how they all function. And of course, Jacob explodes off the page.
Mhm.
So of course, he's the one that we want to see the most. But same thing happened with Solo. He came in Clash of the Castle. That's the first time we saw him,
Yep.
and his rise to the top was really quick.
Mhm.
But the dissension for Roman happened took a little bit longer from that. So I think it's too soon to split Jacob out.
Mhm.
Um, you can drag this out for another few months, until SummerSlam, or even later through the year, depending on how this whole Rock Cody bloodline story is unfolding. And I'm gonna give them credit; they've done a great job with it so far over the last 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm trusting they've got the master plan, and it's going to make sense. But I think it's too soon to split Jacob and pit him against Solo.
Yeah, and that's understandable too, because like you said, where's the path after that? So,
Yeah.
the other WrestleMania match is maybe AJ Styles versus Finn Balor, treating it like the first time ever at WrestleMania. So you give that brand to it. Um, right now, it's hard to see. We were looking at maybe Braun and AJ.
Uh huh.
And I really wasn't sure where the plan is for Finn. I haven't been sure for a while for the plan for Finn. But hey, if you let these two guys just go out there and wrestle till the cows come home, Greg, I'm all for it. I mean, do you want to turn AJ heel and have him have another Judgment Day splinter? But I don't think I necessarily like that. But I then also people brought up maybe AJ, Liv, and Finn kind of all on the same page. We've already seen that as a face side. Could we go as a heel side? So
Hmm.
I just thought this one was an interesting one because, like I said, I haven't seen any direction for Finn. Yeah, he was never going to win in the. He wasn't going to get win against Seth. He's not going to Elimination Chamber. He was going to win at Elimination Chamber, Greg. So very interesting direction if we do go AJ Styles and Finn. Maybe you do throw Braun in there, so then that way it's for some stakes instead of just hey, we're going to let these two guys have a match at, first time ever at Mania. While
Hmm.
it's great branding, what other storyline is there for that? So, what are we thinking on this one, Greg?
It would be a killer match for sure. Um, Both of them can go, and like you said, if you give them just all the rope to do what they want to do, and it's like I want, I want a 5-star banger. I have no doubt that they would bring it to us. Just let them do it the way they do it. They're pros. They've been around a long time, and they know what it takes. And they've worked with each other uh, plenty. So I have no doubt that their chemistry is going to be off the page. So I would love to see that match, especially as a one-on-one.
Yeah.
But going back to their Bullet Club days back in Japan,
Hmm.
this could be interesting. That the Judgment Day has been talking about. We need a new member. We need a new member.
Yeah. That's
And
what I'm
Finn has
curious.
definitely been talking about no new members, just
Hmm.
point blank period, no new members. But you know, this would be awesome as a new member. And not he's not taking the edge role, but with
But he
Finn and
could be in
AJ
that.
being like co-captains,
Yeah.
they're the leaders
Mhm.
of the new Judgment Day,
Yeah.
and just kind of bringing that Bullet Club vibe into it.
Hmm.
I'd be down with that. And like I said, keep them heel, but now they're a whole lot more formidable than just putting over guys like Priest.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Too bad Gals and Anderson got the boot. I guess they could have tried to hitch our wagons to that, but they'll be doing their own thing, I think, during Mania, on their own independent scene with their own money and cash and all that stuff. We've seen it before. They had the Talk of Mania way back in the day, which was just a crazy cast of characters and whatnot. So we'll see if they bring that back during that weekend. I mean, or if Finn does want new members, well then hell, kick him out. AJ takes over the
Right.
reins, or Greg, your guy, Alistair. I mean, he'd be a good kind of
Hmm.
new Judgment Day esque type, golf leader, right? So there's a
Right.
couple options you can go there. I'll be curious to see if this is actual plan or another decoy to get us off the scent. It does feel like The Rock showing up really pivot things, Greg. Because we weren't totally sure where that was going. So let's get to Raw stuff. We are going to get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in an unsanctioned match, Greg. So, this doesn't count on the books, but they get to go to war in Toronto. It's too bad this is Elimination Chamber, Brandon, Greg, because this should have main evented, right?
Absolutely. And I would love to see this on WrestleMania instead of
Yeah.
at Elimination Chamber. And maybe there's a way to make this so that there is one more match at Mania, but would it be an unsanctioned? And where do you go from there? So this is going to be the end of the feud, and then um, Sammy and Kale will pivot somewhere else. But
Unless you do have them both like not answer the call, maybe they can't, and then you have to give us a clear cut winner at Mania. Like you have
yeah,
to say, last man. I mean, I know last man standing is not like unsanctioned, but I mean, some people have thrown out Hell in a Cell.
yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I'm kind of mixed about Hell in a Cell. I don't. I feel like it gets over you. Like it's been kind of been now. It's starting to show up at Mania more often than not, isn't it? It feels like so. You
right.
know, but in
But
the right feud, it makes sense.
their sparing use of it has made
Yeah,
it brought that
that helps.
specialness back to
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
There's not a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view every year anymore. It's
That's true.
just
Yeah,
we use it when it just is
needed.
called for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So uh, I thought about that too. A Hell in a Cell that could be the only place to go after an unsanctioned match. Uh, and I don't know when the last time we had a Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. So that could be cool.
Hmm.
But I think
Well, it was
as good
Edge and Finn? I
Jim
thought that.
Finn's a couple
I mean
years ago,
that.
right?
Yeah, that's been some years, but and then of course we did have Kevin Owens and Shane. Was it that or no? Or Taker and Shane, or Shane and Taker, or Shane and Owens. One of those was at Mania. I think there's been a couple Shane ones there, but
Yeah.
um,
But there's still
yeah,
have been a lot of years between those
yes,
matches.
yes,
So
true. Yes.
um,
I mean,
so
I
I
think they're
love
going
it.
to give us everything at Toronto just because it is, their hometown and
Yeah.
just this idea. I mean, they're going to treat it like a WrestleMania. Really do think
Yeah, no doubt.
so.
So I love it, and we'll save that for the prediction show for who's going to win.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, it's the perfect match to put in there between chamber matches.
yeah, yeah. We'll get that next week. Next Saturday is Elimination Chamber, and the first day of March, and then the week after is Revolution. So we got a couple big pay per views coming up. AJ Styles did defeat Dominic Mysterio, so that's where I guess you could go with this. Maybe AJ beats Carlito, so Finn is like, "Hey, I got to step up and do this thing." Uh, good match to get AJ back in the win column. Just knock on wood, Greg. He just stays healthy because
Yeah,
he's kind of got injury bug. The last two, he got back, then was hurt. So hopefully he's good to go now. I mean, and this last injury, he really thought, it was kind of the end because you just never know. So Dakota Kai is the number one contenders woman for the IC title. Maybe we're waiting for Ivy Nile and Lyra to do battle at Mania. Give us some women matches besides the main title matches, but I'm okay. Dakota Kai gets another shot at it, Greg. I guess no real big complaints there, is there?
no, I mean, there's not much traction around the title right now, so may as well
Yeah.
get some heat generated and
Hmm.
put some contenders in line.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't have a problem with it, and it gives Dakota some spotlight.
Yeah.
If she can stay healthy long enough to get a run in, she could be really good. So
Yep. Mhm.
I've always liked her since NXT, but her push has been stop and start because of all the injuries, and that's the nature of the business. But
Mhm.
I think that makes them more hesitant to put you in that spot
Yeah.
until you can prove you can go a distance without have to be on the shelf for months at a time.
Mhm. We also saw Gunther and Jay are still going at it. It's hard to believe, Craig, that we still got almost 2 months. They're really going to have to. I feel like they're just throwing everything right now. Maybe we get the old I'm going to pick an opponent for you, you pick an opponent for me type deal. I'm
Hmm.
just going to be interested how they keep this story. I guess we probably need a week or so away from it, right? And kind of let things simmer. Just because, like I said, it's hard to believe we still got. If this was next week, it's perfect. We're ready to go.
Hmm.
Well, we still got about less than 2 months. So, what are you thinking about? Just there, I think they're just going too much fighting right away, aren't they? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you got to set the stage and then, um, let the heat build. But yeah, they are going really hard with uh, Gunther first with his, you know, don't choose me, and
Yeah.
then pivoting to, okay, now you picked me, now I got to kill you week in and week out.
Mhm.
And it just, keeping him, off guard behind the eight ball
Yeah.
is going to be a Kofi Mania type of build. And then the payoff. So that's the parallel I'm seeing being drawn here.
Mhm.
Maybe there's a couple weeks of just promos back and forth. One is there, one is not there.
That's
But
yeah.
it is time to turn it down a couple notches before you turn it back up.
Mhm.
And yeah, I like what they've been doing. And again, I got to shout out to Gunther for his promos.
Mhm.
They have been so good, and they're not the basic, you know, I'm going to destroy you, I'm going to murder you. He's so succinct, and it's so easy, well worded.
Yeah.
The way he's saying how he's going to beat him, and making it make sense than
Mhm.
just you know diarrhea of the mouth, and just
Yeah. Yeah.
that they're so good, and everything he's saying is like, man, okay, that's
Mhm.
they think about that way. So he's one of a kind when it comes to that.
Mhm.
Everybody knows he's you know bigger, stronger, more powerful,
Mhm.
and it looks like the easy favorite. But the way he explains it, it's a whole nother level.
Mhm.
So it's awesome, and it's given those extra layers to this rivalry. So you know, Jay's got the crowd in the palm of his hand, but Gunther's really making it work.
Yep. Yep. I want to skip ahead real quick to Roxanne. Her and Bailey in the chamber match there together, Greg. That's my, one's going to beat the other. We're off and running for Mania.
Hmm.
I think that's a really good first time ever matchup there. Um, but I did want to throw together Penta beat Pete Dunne. He keeps beating Ludwig and he's beating Pete Dunne. Who's to say he probably doesn't do both of them at once? But then I also want to throw in the whole New Day stuff because I think I want New Day to run through, Cruz and Wild and Dragon Lee. So that leaves Rey Mysterio without a partner because bam, you throw in Penta. I know it's bad, Greg, but give it to me for Mania and then move all parties on. Because I want Penta at Mania. I just don't know where else he fits right now.
uh, I can buy it for WrestleMania's sake and WrestleMania's sake only. I still
Yeah.
want Ray and Penta in
Yeah.
separate corners doing their own thing,
Yeah.
and we've had their acknowledgement of each other and the passing of the torch at Elimination Chamber. Or, no, sorry, Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess one more one off is okay, but I still want those guys just out of sight, out of mind of each other.
Yeah.
Um, as far as my guy Penta goes, I'm thinking that three-man with Pete Dunne and Kaiser makes the most sense because you
I'll
know
just do that at Mania.
Kaiser doesn't have a foil
Yeah.
right now, and neither is Pete Dunne, and the three of them have had good chemistry with each other in the ring,
Mhm.
and it could be really good. And I like that they've um, started establishing friction with Pete Dunne and Kaiser
Yeah.
independent of Penta because they seem to be getting in each other's way and dealing with him.
Yeah.
So a triple threat with those three
Yeah. And I'm
makes
fine
the
with that
most sense
too.
to me.
Yeah.
And then, you got to have the New Day on the bill. So, um, those bruises they're going to get is going to be amazing. They're getting dominant Mysterio heat right now. So, uh, got to have them on there, keep involving them.
Mm-hmm.
And we can find a good match for them. So,
Yeah. That's what
put them against a couple, baby faces. And, the LWO needs to be the easy path. Um,
I think I'm ready to move ahead from that, but
yeah, I mean, it's another month and a half of that. But where else you gonna put them? And then
that's one downfall. Yes.
yeah, so I think that's it.
Yeah.
Worked out between them, and then just we can send them all on their way after WrestleMania. But at least gives them a big stage to carry on their heel character and blow it up even more.
And then, like we did bring up, Seth Rollins won. I don't think there was any doubt Seth was going to be in what they're booking as the biggest elimination chamber star-studded event of all time. So Seth Rollins was obviously going to be there. So, and
Yeah,
I love that Seth has said, "I'm coming for everybody," but he did not mention Logan Paul by name. So there you go. He doesn't give two what's about Logan
exactly.
Paul, as none of us should. But hopefully they all just do the old like, hey, let's all pin him at once, because I think that would be hilarious.
Yes,
Logan's gonna
absolutely.
eliminate, half of them anyways in the Royal Rumble. Some NXT stuff. Man, we had a busy NXT. So Moose is there as foil to Obafemi. So there we go. We're gonna get some Hoss battle there, Greg. TNA star Moose is the X Division champ. Following in the footsteps of Samoa Joe in the bigger guy
Right.
category of winning that, right? So, but man, you just look at Moose and you look at Oba, and you just see two guys that want it. So I'm all for it. Let's have him. Let's do it. I don't know where, when, how, why, or well, I know why, but don't know when and where. But let's do it, Greg.
Yes, no bread, no water, just me. It's gonna be so good, man. It's gonna be awesome. We got to do that. Um, I've, Moose has been off my radar for a long time since TNA went to Mush,
Yeah.
but I like that they're representing him, and he's part of or head of the faction that he's in,
Yeah.
and you know, and he's bigger than Obafemi when they got that close up shot. So
Mhm.
I didn't realize he's bigger than Oba. But sign me up for the Hoss fights. I'm a big fan, and give us one we haven't seen before like this one. So all with it. Let's go.
Carmen Petrovic has been running under the radar, Greg, winning matches, and now she got the number one contendership. This is for the North American title, correct?
Yeah, North
Yeah.
American title.
So she got that. We're still. I'm guessing we're gonna. I think we got to do a loser leaves NXT for Jada and Kaylani, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's time for them to come up. They're ready.
Yeah.
And I liked Kaylani's switch to the dark side
Yeah.
slowly but surely. Is and instead of just all at once, and now
Yeah.
she's the bad girl. But week after week, she goes one more level over from 1 to 10. She's
Mm-hmm.
about at 5.5 right now. And each show gets a little closer to the extreme side. So I'm excited watching that progress. Being more than just a smiley, happy character.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's is due for big things. Same with Jada Parker. She's been
Yeah.
ready. I think the people on the main roster are going to love her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think absolutely they're ready to go. This is a good send off match.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sol Ruka and Zarya kind of rolling as a tag team. That's kind of a put together makeshift tag team, but the Soul Snatcher is still the big deal. And
Hmm.
Zarya kind of set her up for that. Really got the people going. So there was and they beat Lash Legend Jakara, who just they were at Saudi Arabia and they've been on the main roster for a little bit. So they're definitely pushing this Sol Ruca Zarya tag team as it is. So anything kind of there?
Yeah, that's just it. Is that the same thing? They're going to have to put the next team in line for when Shakara and Lash leave, and they're going to be on their way up very soon too. So you
Yep.
need to have somebody there to take their place. And I'm not the biggest fan of Soul and Zarya because I want Soul as a individual,
Yeah. Well,
but
Zarya probably needs to be her own individual.
exactly
But it's one of those like, hey, we got two singles women. Let's just throw them together for a little bit of time to get them on TV.
right. So I'm good with it. You need to have a plan in place after you know whoever's coming up is coming up. So it makes sense.
Sean Spears picked up a good win over Ariana Grace's fiance. I love there was some vignette or something with Santino and Ariana where Santino was like calling out Channing, saying he doesn't really like him. So I got to find that video somewhere. But what about a week for Eddie Thorpe? He beats Trick Williams in the strap match. He gets Andre Chase. He's still getting pushed, isn't he?
He is, and he's one of those that I'm slowly coming around to him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the character. I thought they lent or leaned a little too heavily on his
Native born.
heritage when he first came up, but they're bringing out his personality and the heritage is kind of filtering into the background now. So kind of like when they launched Tiffany Stratton as the daddy's little rich girl and her playing into that more than her skills in the ring, and now it's shifted all the way over to the other side. Same thing with Eddie Thorpe now. So he's showing he's got a little deviousness in him,
Mm-hmm.
um, setting up his own beatdown
Yeah.
to score a title match was genius. Um, and just he's a little chaotic and but it's kind of like a little mad scientist thing going on. So
Mm-hmm.
I like what he's doing, and nobody saw him beating Trick.
No.
So that's putting them on the radar. So I like it.
Well, we haven't really seen a Native American character since what? Tonka? So we
Exactly.
definitely need to come far away. I understand. You want to introduce, like you said, did they go too deep into that? And now that it's like it's a good way to introduce them, and then you got to figure out what you can actually do with them. So, and then
Exactly.
what we got this new triad of the new faces, the new four horsewomen. If you want to throw Zarya in there, Greg, they defeated Fatal Influence, so we have Julia get the win with North American champion Stephanie McCourt and Jordan Grace. So they got a big win. But I left the best for last, Greg. The Revolution will be televised because Ricky Saints, New Orleans' own Ricky Starks, aka now Ricky Saints. I guess it is curious, when do they decide a guy can keep their name and they can't keep their name? Um,
Yeah.
like some people said, oh, it's good that he didn't keep his name because now he can he can trademark it himself if
Yeah.
things go awry. So, you know, I don't know. It is what it is. I think Ricky will probably still end up messing his name, saying Ricky Starks on here, but Ricky Saints, if that's what he wants, that's what he wants. But I'm just happy he's somewhere, Greg. That thing that and like they said, it kind of came together right away. He was released and boom. They're like, let's get you in front of a camera. I mean, it's almost like the Stone Cold back in the day when Paul Heyman's like, here, let me put this $20 video camera in front of you. You cut a promo on WCW type deal. But
Mhm.
and then they're mixing them up with Ethan Page already. So you can have the old AEW cast-offs really show why they should have been still there, probably.
Yeah.
But I'm
Absolutely.
all for Ricky Saints. And looked up his age, 35 years old. So he's not a young pup, Greg. He's had some, what they say, tooth in the, or long in the tooth, as they say. And hopefully he'll get a nice run down there and he'll get some time on the main roster and mix it up with some guys up there. But very excited to see what he does. We still have waiting on Aleister Black. Miro maybe in the works, but it's just kind of funny to think, getting some of these guys that AEW just had in the palm of their hands, Greg, and couldn't quite, Ricky really had a run down there. And then that tag team with Big Bill just, I thought, really derailed everything. So,
Yeah. Um, I'm with it. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do and make himself better than he was in the AEW,
yeah.
because I'm sure the idea when those guys come over like Ethan and Ricky is that, okay, I'm going to show you why you shouldn't have let me go, and they're going to show up and show out even more. Ethan Page has already done it, and he's looked great doing it.
Hmm.
I love what they're doing with him right now. He's gonna be ready to come up to the main roster soon, and I'm
Like
hoping that
Sting.
Ricky can do the same thing, and evolve his character even more. Have his matches are better.
Hmm.
Um, I was fine with him. He's really good on the mic. Uh, I wasn't a huge fan of his matches, but they were good. But I want to see them be great now,
Yeah.
and I'm sure he's got the experience to do it. And like I said, he's 35, but he looks like a baby still. So,
Mhm.
um,
Probably
with
the
the
chip on the
WWE,
shoulder, too.
yeah,
That little block of like, now I really got to prove myself.
exactly.
So,
And with the WWE schedule now, he could easily get another 10 years. Um, he does it right, and
mhm.
I'm sure he's taking care of his body and his fitness and everything. So no reason to think he couldn't go another 10 years.
Yep.
So we could get some good mileage out of him and some banger matches, which is all I care about.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to see what he can do. I'll keep my fingers crossed for him, and I want to love the guy. Right now I just like him. I want to get to the love part. I want to be all about him. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yep.
But before we pivot over,
Yeah. Sorry.
I gotta give shout out to NXT for the Vengeance Day pay per view.
Yeah. We didn't get a chance to
That
brought that up.
That was 5 stars from beginning to the end. Every single match was a banger. I was blown away because I was expecting just the same old NXT pay per view, but they brought it. They brought it. They over delivered. It reminded me of those black and gold pay per views that were normally better than the pay per views
Mhm.
that they were attached to from the main roster.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and even the matches that I didn't care going in about,
Hmm.
um, like Fraxium against Briggs and Inamura.
Hmm.
That was an awesome match, and it just got better and better and better each match. So I just wanted to shout out that pay per view
I did
because,
forget to put that in there because I was like, oh, yeah, that did happen. I should have. I mean, I feel like if NXT's finally finding its footing. You have
yeah,
the right cast of people down there, backstage and on screen.
exactly, yeah,
You just had to clean out the cupboard a little bit and get these new faces in there and really find that new quality that you could do. And like we said, I think this TNA partnership for both sides is really going to be helpful because you can
yeah,
get some fresh
definitely,
faces on each side. I mean, we're going to get Oba on TNA next week, like teaming up with the Hardy Boys. Who would have, and we're gonna get the Hardy Boys on NXT. Like, who would have ever thunk, the Hardy Boys versus Fraxium is going to happen?
yeah,
And we'll all be for it. So, I mean, I would hope you maybe wait till Stand and Deliver and let them have that big moment at WrestleMania, type weekend. So, especially since that would be the precursor to WrestleMania that night. So hopefully we'll
mhm,
kind of play that out. But I think I really, like you said, I think the brand is starting to show itself. So,
yeah.
and that's good because that's what we need. Because guess those are going to be the next people coming up. So
But yeah, I highly advise everybody who hasn't seen it, go watch it because every match was awesome,
mm-hmm.
and they just over delivered in
Yeah.
a major way. So I get that whole card 5 stars. That's my favorite card of the year so far.
Oh, good. Yep. We had some SmackDown stuff that didn't involve The Rock, Greg, but Jimmy Uso. got to win over Drew. If there's any way to make Drew more unhinged, Greg, got to have Jimmy Uso, Big Jim, beat him with a roll up. And that happened. So, yeah. Any thoughts, real quick, there?
No, it's good, and I agree.
You needed
That
to. Drew needs to eat some L's every once in a while, right? I mean,
yeah, and give Big Jim some love. He's trying to strike up his own and replicate his brother's success. So, um, this is how you do it: slowly but surely, work your way up, get the people behind you. So, but yeah, good match. You got a little small package out of Alabama Slam. 1, 2,
learned
3.
it from
So
Tony Storm. She has
that's
the
that.
best small. She has the smallest package in the world, Greg.
That's right. This dynamite don't blow you up.
Carmelo and the Miz. So I guess we're shifting away from Karrion Kross and the Miz, Greg, which I really wanted to see where that could have went. But we've had Karrion Kross in the background of Sami Zayn and of everybody else, so maybe it might resurface itself. But they defeat Louisiana Knight and R-Truth. But yeah, that happened. Anything there, or should we just move ahead?
No, always shout out to R-Truth because it was so good. Louisiana Night. We're always thinking about who's
And hands him a po' boy and hands him some Mardi Gras beads. So there you go. Happy Fat Tuesday coming up soon. So,
gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Tiffany, talk about I love me some Trish Gregg, but I did not see Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton against Candice LeRae and Nia Jax at Elimination Chamber. You know who I want? Trish versus Charlotte. That's what we need. Because you have the Queen going against an Attitude Era favorite to show that Queen rules over everybody. But we will get Tiffany and Charlotte at Mania, and that's what's crazy too. With this long lull between things, we're kind of throwing all the storylines together. But there's no doubt I can make my prediction right now. Tiffany and Trish are winning, right, Greg? I mean, you're
no doubt.
You're not gonna have Trish get pinned in Toronto.
No.
So Candice LeRae, you'll be staring at the lights. But hey, what about Candice LeRae starting to show a little more on the mic? I mean, she's just kind of filling in the Tiffany role, though, isn't she?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what's the end game for her? Because she's kind of being a background player, a sidekick. So
I feel like it's a Tom and Jerry cartoon where you have the big dog and the little puppy. And
exactly.
He's kind of like standing up to it, but it's all about the big dog. So, Liv and Raquel still saying they didn't do it, which when push comes to shove, it has to be Naomi or Bianca who took out Jade. I will still preach it to the high heavens, Greg, or this Jade thing was for naught. It has to be one of those two. So, yeah.
I agree. And me, I stand on my business. It was Bianca, and let's get that WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's too easy to say that Liv and Raquel did it. And walking into the building from 50 feet away, it's like, doesn't really tell us anything, really. But
exactly. Well, and that's the thing. That's why they should be in the clear, because they were walking away from the scene.
Right.
And if you're a criminal, I mean, I know we've seen plenty of the world's worst criminals, Greg. Especially the people that lock themselves in the doors, which is always awesome. But
right.
we don't need Liv and Raquel on the world's worst criminals. So, yeah. But I think both of them just I think Naomi and Bianca in cahoots, and finally having Naomi do a heel run, and Bianca. I mean, Bianca was a little heelish in her early NXT days.
Yeah.
But I think people saw how good she was. So, I mean, and Naomi should have been a Bloodline member from day one, Greg, but that's a whole nother, not day one necessarily, but, at some point she should have been aligned with the Bloodline because she's right there. she's Bloodline adjacent. So, but yeah. And it looks like we're getting all of our tag teams. I kind of found it hilarious, though, that Michael Cole, or no, not Michael. Joe Tessitore was like, and the tag team division empties, and it was just Motor City Machine Guns coming out. And I'm like, all right, well, there you go. There's your 4 tag teams. But I mean, these guys have all intersected. We did have Damian Priest and Braun defeat Jacob and Solo. Go figure. Damian Priest is in the chamber match. Braun keeps rolling. So yeah, there's. I guess if you want that to be a tag team, you could throw them too, Greg. But should we just get into what happened with The Rock? Because we are left with more questions than answers, which I personally love. I don't want answers right now because Mania, like
Right.
we said, Mania is too far away.
Yeah.
But I do find it interesting that The Rock is kind of pushing it like we don't need a match necessarily, but you've kind of built yourself for a match for it. So now, like I said, if you throw The Rock having a corporate champion, you know, isn't Drew McIntyre a good name to throw that? They already have the history. You had The Rock gift Drew his sword. You can have Drew maybe clean up his hair, do a little nice ponytail in the back and clean up a
Yeah.
suit. Art Solo, maybe he could be the corporate champion. He doesn't win the title, but try to be. So I feel like there's avenues to go, especially since it seems like maybe The Rock is going to do movie stuff, so maybe he can't be on TV as much. But the idea that The Rock wants the soul is that line just took me. I'm like, well, what in the hell? What? Like, people are like, this is like Mortal Kombat stuff. Like, we're gonna finish him or take out the beating heart type stuff. But it really got me. I was like, okay, I'm in. Like, I don't know where this
Uh-huh.
is going, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I get that, I want you to be my champion. I'm like, okay. And then when he went to, I want your soul, like, are you Undertaker now?
Yeah,
I want you, because he's pointing at him, he's like pointing at the belt, which would make plenty of sense.
yeah.
And pivots out with, no, I want your soul. Like, okay. So,
Which means,
right.
well, then again, your soul's even more like it's like the devil. Like it's like when Stone Cold sold out to Vince. I mean, that's
Yeah.
if you take everything from Cody, you're taking everything because you're the boss. You're even over Triple H. So I guess I like the idea that he's not just going for the title. He wants everything of Cody. Because that's the deal you
Mhm.
got to make sometimes. What they say, the devil, whatever CM Punk. He's made a couple of references to that, the devil type stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and hey, I guess The Rock is just working for that mafia boss role that he's working in with Martin Scorsese now. So he's trying to get a little. Maybe we need Tony D'Angelo to give him some tips.
There you
But
go.
I enjoyed this. I mean, the segment ran long, but it's The Rock. I mean, what are we doing here? What do we expect?
Right.
So, but
You're
it
not
is
gonna
a nice
wrap the rock.
pivot from where he was on Netflix as well. Now we're like, okay, now we're The Rock final boss mode. Like, okay, now this is where you should have been 2 months ago.
Right. And I like them going from, straight baby face,
Yeah,
good guy to the devil by the end of the promo.
yeah,
Uh, and he's making his pitch to Cody, and I give you your wildest dreams and
hmm
everything that you want and your wife wants and your kids want for your future generations and your generations.
hmm
And it's like that's a very, you know, devil give me your soul kind of,
Devil went down to
deal
Georgia.
to make. Yeah. So I was getting those vibes as that promo was going on, especially after he's, you know, sugarcoating everything, and then he tells somebody in the audience, "I'll smack the syphilis off your face," and Cody's
Yeah,
like, "What the?" So
yeah.
it was so awesome. So I'm with you. I'm in it, and this is what I figured was going to happen. Rock is going to be involved, and when he was on NXT and said, "Sit back and let Final Boss take you on the ride," this is what he was talking about. So
Do you
everybody's
think we
thinking he's
get
not going
Cody
to
and
be a part
Rock
of it.
this year?
They were so wrong.
Do we get Cody and Rock this year though, or do we wait till next year?
Um, I don't think it's going to be this year,
hmm
um, because he's still got to face the winner of Elimination Chamber.
Well, and that's where I think
Um,
that's where the interesting part. I think The Rock does The Rock try to get in the head of whoever wins the Elimination Chamber.
it could be make that double pitch to that guy.
Mhm.
Um, so
And then
if
that's
Cody turns him down, now whoever wins the elimination chamber is you can be the Rock's guy,
mhm.
and have him sell out, and that guy ends up beating Cody at Mania. So
Does John Cena? Does he take The Rock's offer?
that would be juicy. That would be super juicy. It's
Right now, it said John Cena and Bianca are the like the betting favorites, so to win their respective matches.
to to. I've always been borderline with John Cena. It's like sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. But this would be too juicy for me to pass up. I'd be all about that because we never seen John go heel.
I mean, and we couldn't
And
put John in this desperate. I mean, he's already put himself in the match, so why not
yeah,
try to get in the pocket of The Rock?
and what better way to appeal to him if he loses the elimination chamber and
Mhm.
has no path, and then The Rock comes in.
Yeah,
He goes, "You've always been the face of this place anyway.
yeah, yeah. And
Be
that
my champion." It's
be
like
my champion.
is big
I
of
mean, I guess you would now if we have true John Cena, he's going to turn the hell down that, but we could
yeah.
pivot. So
But
I think
Desperation
there's
John Cena may not be above doing that.
yeah, that's true.
Master of Thugonomics might do that.
Yeah, are the John Cena we saw in that press conference?
Yeah.
Just straight up, hey, I'm doing this for you type deal. But yeah, very interesting. I thought it was pretty compelling. Was it long in the tooth? Yes, but I think you had to go that route
Yeah.
to ultimately get to where we think we might go, if that makes any sense at all. So,
Right. And we
um,
got a week and a half or just over a week before it's off and running because we're going to have Cody's answer.
yeah, next
And
week.
then we're really a house on fire. We're going to
Yeah.
roll that ball into
And
WrestleMania.
I think you do that. You probably do the women's chamber match first, and maybe have Rock and Cena in the middle. Finish it with the men's chamber, so then that way you can have the Rock on the stage, kind of looking at the winner and be like, "Hey, do you want to do my offer or not?" And leaving it like that. So
Hmm.
yeah, there's definitely. I mean, our people have said, does he get Ava? Maybe control Ava to kind of get NXT per. There's different avenues you can go with this. So I'm all for it because we shouldn't necessarily know the answers right now.
Yeah.
Like we said, we're still under 2 months away. Now if we were a week away for Mania, then I'd be like, okay, we gotta should have picked that up a lot quicker. But yeah, and hell, The Rock is The Rock, Greg. If The Rock said I want to be in WrestleMania the night before, I'd probably be like, okay, like
Yeah.
that's fine, and we'll figure out the best way to get him there. He'll fly
Yeah.
on his own jet. He'll get. Sorry, go
No, and I'm saying I love this chamber because everybody in the chamber makes sense except for Logan Paul.
ahead. I was just saying,
we
yeah,
we can write the story for everybody
yeah,
having a great story to tell going um, into
WrestleMania too.
WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Seth Rollins, John Cena,
Drew,
CM Punk, they would all look
Roman.
amazing sitting across from Cody,
Mhm.
except for Logan Paul. We don't want that,
Yeah.
and let's get him out there first elimination. But everybody else, yes, feed me more.
Yep. What about some AEW stuff? So we didn't get a chance to talk it up, but Grand Slam happened. Tony Storm, Greg, is our what 3-time champion?
4 times.
4 time, sorry. 4 time. We were saying who would beat Mariah May, and I guess it was it was Tony Storm, Greg. Now we're gonna get one more match. Uh Lights out, unsanctioned. We got to get some Hollywood ending to this. Too bad we still didn't have the cinema matches, Greg. I think this
Oh
would be a
yeah,
perfect, you know,
definitely.
and maybe they throw it out there for them at Revolution, some sort of cinema match. It just makes too much sense, especially after last night. Mariah May just not looking her normal self, Greg. The hair was tied up. She, just had kind of a plain old white shirt, black blouse on. but man, she took the hell out of Tony. Tony Storm was the only Australian who had a good night last week. It felt like
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Harley lost, Buddy lost. Um, I think Jay White is Australian as well. He
Yeah.
lost, so yeah, we had a rough night for the Kiwis, as they say, Greg. But Tony Storm, Mariah May, number 3 at AW Revolution. Where are you at with it?
Hey, sign me up. Their matches have been bangers, and Tony Storm winning was a slam dunk in my book. So
Yeah.
um, having this be the final showdown between them, game 3 of the trilogy,
Hmm.
and let's best woman or whoever wins is
Hmm.
going to send the other one off to exile again. We already had that happen with Tony, and this is it, the big final countdown, and it's going to be a great match. I have no doubt about it. We'll save the prediction for the show, but um,
Yeah.
there was no other way to go than this. So
Hmm. Yeah. Okada keeps picking up wins, and now we'll get either him and Orange versus Kenny Omega. I love that Kenny Omega just got a finals bye, Greg, essentially to Revolution. So, I mean, it's got to be Okada and Omega, right?
I think so, yeah. And again, I can't wait for Okada to show me why he's Okada,
Yeah.
because everything I've seen so far has been meh. But this could be it. These two have had that history going all the way back to Japan for years and
Yep.
years and years, and we could finally get that better than 5-star match out of these two, and the Okada that is the legend in Japan finally showing up.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only way to go. Let's get it.
Rhea was there sporting her man, so nice that she got to get out. By the way, if you saw the videos of them of all the AW stars, or not all, but some of them at the Australian Zoo, I felt that was like a sitcom or something. Especially when we had the Death Riders all holding animals. Greg, are you gonna purchase the newest property of Death Riders white T-shirt with logo in the very 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 bottom of it, Greg, for $27.99?
I have to see it. I didn't get to see it, but it's
It's literally a white T-shirt with property of Death Riders, like right here on the bottom of the shirt.
oh, good
Ay,
grief.
ay, ay. We could have just made that
No,
ourselves. I might
that
just make
sounds
my
horrible.
own and I'll just act like I bought it. But anyways, so yeah. Speaking of the Death Riders, they got the big win. So Greg, Cope is going to beat Moxley. Prediction. What? Well, the sad part is,
uh,
like I said, we still got Christian with that damn busted, um, whatever you want to call it. Whatever that almost looks like a file folder or metal folder case. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, I can already get this away because there's no way I want Cope to
I know.
beat Moxley.
Yeah,
Um, and we're gonna have a good blood and guts match, but Moxley's gonna choke him out and on to the next one.
well, he already choked him out this match.
I know, so he's
Good,
gonna
just
do
do
it
it
again.
again. Do the same ending. What about Mercedes
Don't fix it.
Monet? Is all the momentum gone for Harley now, Greg? It feels like she's still getting a good pop. So I wish she would have won that title. Even if Mercedes gets it back in a month or two.
I know,
I
I
just
did too.
the money was there. I just don't know what you like. Now you've just what do you do with Harley now?
I know that match was a great match.
Yeah.
I would give them that might be my favorite match on the card because
Yep.
it was really good, and the promo she cut before
Hmm.
the match, when she came up with the Monet puppet
Hmm.
and was doing the rap, and holy crap, the rap is so good. And then she cut it and just start speaking plainly to the camera. I'm like,
Yep.
okay,
Hmm.
she's got some stuff. She's good.
Oh yeah.
And the match was a banger. I'm not sure if we don't get to another match
Yeah, I
where
mean,
she does get the win because it would be
you got to give her something, right? I mean,
yeah.
I-
And like I said, she's mega over with using a puppet was a great idea, and the segments backstage have been money,
mhm.
and people are loving it. You're getting the Field of Wrath chants in the audience now. So
Yep.
uh, I want it. I think we all want it. So I think we're going to find a way to get them another match and have Harley get it because Mercedes still walking around with 4 belts. She's got to start sharing the wealth at some time.
Yeah, now she's gonna face the when there's another Asian wrestler she's gonna face. So yeah. What about Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega getting the win? I'll be right back. I got to get a plug for my computer. It's about ready to die, so I'll be right back. You talk on that real quick. Give
All
me
right,
like
yeah,
2 seconds,
absolutely.
so and I'll be right back.
All right, well, Kenny Omega and Osprey, I think that was pretty obvious that they were going to get that win. They beat the Callis family, and we're going to be setting up probably a big 8-man tag, I believe. So, we got to have them squash the Callis family and eventually pivot off of that into Omega versus Osprey because I think somewhere in the back of one of their minds that you know that turn is going to happen once they finish this business and get these uh, gnats flies out of their way because they were ready to come to blows before Don Callis walked out with his brown note music and spoil it for everybody.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Osprey and Omega still want to see who's the man, who's the real man, and that's going to happen still. But they got to take care of this business first,
Yeah, I need
uh,
I need Omega and Osprey on AW at some point because man, why not? Huh?
right? So that match is printing money. Save it for a few months down the road when
Mhm.
you get to your big, I guess all in's the big
Yeah.
WrestleMania ish show for
Or
AEW.
you could, I mean, is Double or Nothing too soon in May? At the end of May?
What are we at almost at March now,
Yeah.
so probably smack dab in the middle of the year almost.
Mhm.
That could be a great time to do it. Yeah, that's the dead of the summer and nothing's going on. Sports are in hiatus. It would make a lot of sense.
Does Omega get that? I mean, I know it's quite a prediction, but I feel like Omega's going to take off the title of Takeshita. I mean,
Yeah,
of yeah, or no, is it Okada? Which title is he going for? I forget now.
I think he's going after Takeshi's title.
Okay. Oh, because it's Takeshita and Orange Cassidy. Wait, I think
Yeah,
I'm all,
it's going to be Takeshi and Orange
yeah,
Cassidy,
this
but
week, and then whoever wins goes on to
right,
Revolution. So
exactly. So, um, and this falls into the storyline of him eliminating the Callis family,
yeah,
and Takeshi could be pretty much the final boss of this particular scene because they don't waste any opportunity to mention that Takeshi beat Kenny twice in 6 days,
yeah.
and he's going to want that get back. So um, it would make sense that he ends up finishing the story by beating Takeshita and taking the championship.
Mhm. Yeah. The other bit of news was Jack Perry because he was apparently going to feud with Kenny Omega, and now he's not. And he hasn't been on TV, what, since the Young Bucks have been off, Greg? So
Yeah,
I don't know what the heck is going on with Jack Perry, but man, um, yeah, I mean, I thought he had a pretty good direction going, and now it's that old, hey, you're doing pretty solid work, and now we're going to take you off TV. It just feels like with him.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I was thinking the same thing, probably if not last week, the week before. Like, where's Cat Perry been? Because he's going to try to after this Callis family business is over, he's going to be come gunning for the Elite. And the Bucks are off screen, but they're back and active. They've been wrestling out there in Japan, but we haven't seen Jack Perry anywhere. We haven't seen any interaction with Okada just yet. But um,
Yeah.
after Callis is over, the Elite has to be next on the hit list. So it's a little concerning that they're not back on camera yet.
Yeah. Yep. Some AEW Dynamite stuff. So Hangman Adam Page and MJF going one-on-one, and we finally have the roles defined, Greg. Hangman's the face, and MJF is the heel because he doesn't mind being the heel. And this goes back to people are saying Tiffany and Charlotte should be heel versus heel. Sometimes heel versus heel works, Greg, but not very often because I feel like the crowd is bound to root for somebody if both characters are good enough. You know what I mean? Like if you got two heels that have no juice, then you're just in for a stinker.
Yeah.
You got a match, yes, but that's why MJF and Hangman, it's like who gets the win because both guys probably need it at this point.
Exactly. And this is Heyman's character coming,
Full circle.
full circle pretty much. It's like after the Swerve rivalry and he came out and he's exactly the same as he is now. A whole lot more intense, more purpose in his step, and just a level of violence beyond what we are used to out of
Yeah.
Heyman. And they booed him coming out of the Swerve rivalry, but now, after months, he's doing the same thing, and now everybody's on his side, especially standing across from MJF. So he's changed his character in a different type of way, but he's just a more hardcore, um, serious individual, which is what we wanted from him from the beginning. So I love it, and that's going to make this match hot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The Ops picked up a win. Do we want them going after tag team titles or the trios titles? Trios titles, Greg.
Trios, they all deserve to have a belt around their waist. So, you know, they just got back together, all three of them, and that's the best way to get them that limelight, get those belts on them, and not
Uh,
just two of them, all three of them.
yeah. I think that's fine to have that. I mean, the Undisputed Kingdom looks like they're going first, but they'll probably fail. So why not give the Ops, but hell, give me Lashley and Samoa Joe trading blows right at some point.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I guess we haven't seen that since the TNA days because I don't think I don't remember them crossing paths in WWE at the time. So I'm all in on for that. Big old Will Hobbs got the meat chant and got the big win over Big Bill. If Bandito can't get that ROH title, could big old Hobbs get it, Greg?
Hey, he could. Hobbs is looking like a beast,
Yep.
and he's one of those new young guns that needs some shine. So
Mm-hmm. Beat
absolutely.
Jericho's and Nueve would be big. So Tony Storm offered an open invitation to anyone, even Wendy Richter. So, Wendy, if you're hearing this, Greg, but we know who answered the call. That'd be Mariah May after a collision. Just bloodied her up again. They need to give us some sort of blood match to finish things off there. We also had Adam Copeland, saying, "Hey, I'm going to eliminate the Death Riders one by one." They kind of started with Pac. Sorry, Pac, you're the San Francisco, whatever that lamb, the lamb. there. He was the first one. What about Megan Bain? Is she crawling up your list of impressive women already, Greg? Because man, her and Statlander, just put those two women together and let them be a tag team. You could have some, brother or sisters of destruction back in the day, right?
Right. But yeah, Megan Bain. Oof. Yeah, she's on the list.
Impressive that, and she doesn't even like Statlander. She doesn't look big, like Jordan Grace. You look at pictures of her, and she's got muscles popping out. of places I don't even know there's muscles. But
Right.
Statlander and Bane, they're impressive. They're like Cesaro, where you just show off and you're just like, okay, where'd you get that strength from? So, and
Yeah.
then my girl Thunder Rosa got in the middle of it. Didn't know what to do with the chair,
Yeah, that was
as it
weird.
were. So weren't quite sure what was going. It's almost like when you pause a game and you're not sure where to do next. But yeah, so we will get Statlander and Thunder Rosa versus Megan Bane and Penelope Ford at some point. Any thoughts on Bane and Statlander, Greg?
Hey, give me more of those matches.
Yeah.
I'm ordering up. I'm up right now.
Hmm.
Um, they complement each other really well,
Yeah.
and um, I'm here for Megan Band. I want more of her.
Hmm.
Uh, and I was noticing that just like she's using the F5 as the finisher,
That's what it looks like.
so
Yeah.
I'm for that too.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not. I've seen a couple people look like they're using a F5 variation. I think Zarya's using what's
I
like an
think she
F5
uses.
variation.
Yep. Hmm.
So as long as you're getting wins with it, we're good. But don't start doing that and have people kick out of it. So
Yeah.
um, and she hit it and they go out. So
Hmm.
I'm good with it. She's the perfect woman to use it.
Yeah. What else? Ricochet and Swerve looks like they're still going at it. Are we going to get a robe on a pole match, Greg?
Oh man,
If Vince Russo had his way, we would, but yeah, I think we need a nice another blood match between those two at Revolution. And let Ricochet eat the L to give the robe back, but and then whatever we want to do with the third fall.
yeah, yeah. You know, I'm done with the thing on the pole match, but
No, yeah.
it could be just in the stakes that the winner gets the robe. I like
Who
the
would have thought?
promo that,
Sorry, go
huh?
ahead. I was
I
going to
would say
say,
I
who would have
like
thought
the
material? Go ahead.
I like the promo with Ricochet and Nana,
Hmm.
where Nana explains the history behind
Yeah,
it and how important it is. That way, when they do have the match, we all know this is a big deal. This is more than just a robe.
yeah.
And the announcers have done a good job, putting over the rope too. But this gives us the reason to have another match because Ricochet just beat Swerve,
Hmm.
um, and having it be more of a, this is the stakes,
Yeah.
and this is why Swerve's going to come out. He's going to be even uh, more swervy than he usually is, as far as his intensity level and wanting to get it back. And then Ricochet has been probably the most fun heel to watch. MJF is just cringy sometimes, so he's you can't not watch him in a
Yeah.
car wreck sense of the word. But
Hmm.
Ricochet has been fun just to watch
Hmm.
his evolution into madness. It just the evil point Dexter is out and he is working it.
Yeah.
Um, just being braggy and strutting in the robe like he's Carmel Ric Flair. I
Hmm.
love it,
Hmm.
and this match is going to be a banger. I have no doubt, a bloody banger. But we're telling the story of why we're having another match, and we can keep telling this story with Ricochet and with Swerve, and get some more matches out of it because they've all been great so far.
Yep. And then we did bring up Orange Cassidy. He's going to move on and face Takeshita to see if maybe he gets the title off of him for the international championship. But we shall see. Some stuff did happen on um, Collision. Gabe Kidd seems like the hottest new import. Greg, he's from New Japan. Looks like he's getting some run in the United States here. I don't think he's been here much often or very often, so he's starting to pick up some wins. He defeated Butcher, and he's going after whoever next. Hologram defeated Beast Mortos. I guess that's the only thing we can do with Hologram, right? Is given the Beast because didn't they had the 2 out of 3 falls match, and now they have this. So we're really confused what to do with them. Julia Hart picked up a win. Murder Machines picked up a win. Death Riders did. Max Caster keeps losing these best wrestler live matches, Greg. And then Jericho did defeat Bandito. So that's why I brought up the Hobbs aspect. Like, if Bandito can't beat Jericho, then let's give it to Hobbs because somebody's got to beat Jericho soon. Because
Yeah.
I'm ready for Jericho to stay on the cruise line.
Right. So it's hard to say because I've been seeing Jericho since he first debuted way back in the day.
Yeah.
And his constant evolution and the brilliant characters and the gimmicks. It's hard for me to say I want him to just retire to the announce desk from now on, but
Yeah.
he's there now. And take Cope with you.
Yep. All right. Well, that is all I had for today. Anything for the good of the matter in our last call, Greg?
Well, we're in the almost in the new league year for NFL, so I'm sitting on pins and needles, waiting to see
Mm,
who my Chargers are going to scoop up.
yeah.
Um, a lot of talk about those guys who are going to be cap casualties, some big names. This could be the most interesting off season in recent history,
I
with all
heard
the
that.
people who are going to be available out there. I mean, even coming off, my Chargers roster, Joey Bosa is definitely going to be gone. Khalil Mack is, uh, they want him back 100%, but there's a whole bunch of other teams that want him too, and he's a unrestricted free agent. So there's going to be other teams pushing the price for him. So uh, I'm super interested to see what's going to happen with my squad.
Mhm.
Suns are already making
Huh.
travel plans for the off season,
Yeah, I was just looking at the
Cabo
standings.
or
They're sitting outside the play-in tournament, Greg.
yeah. If they were on TNT, they'd already had to go and gone fishing sign because I think they're like 27-30 right now and games away from even the play-in. And at the way they're playing, they don't even deserve to be in the play-in. So unless they can turn things around real quick, this season's they're taking the L.
My Pacers are rolling though. They're fourth in the East. A game up or a game and a half or a half game up on New York. Or sorry, the Bucks. The Bucks. They're behind New York by 5 games, so probably not going to catch them. But man, if my Pacers can keep right in that fourth spot, host a playoff round at home, I'm all for it. Against the Bucks, I mean, what better way to start another run towards a? I mean, you get the right matchup, Greg, in the playoffs, like last year, you can run to the conference title, even if you're not the best team, even though the Cavs and Thunder I mean, they keep rolling 10 losses each. I mean, that's crazy to think, and two of the
Yeah,
is, the Thunder were one of the youngest teams last year, if not the youngest. So, just crazy to see, some different, we beat the Grizzlies the other night, who's number 2 in the West. So that was a good win for us. And got the Clippers tonight. I'll be heading to that game. Got the Nuggets tomorrow at home, and then one more at home. So 4 straight games at home, Greg, for my Pacers to kind of, get a little streak going. And I mean, just never know. Like we said, right matchup falls in your lap. You could roll into the conference finals without facing, the Celtics or the Cavs right away. So I'm excited. I did also hear the NFL salary cap went up, so that might be good for your Chargers, Greg, if they want to
yeah,
open up the pocketbook a little bit to keep somebody or sign somebody. But my Colts
absolutely.
are right at the verge of it or threshold of it, so not sure if they, will spend the money, but stranger things have happened, I guess. So, yeah. But other than that, ready for another weekend. We're trying to bring on Sean, maybe for our Elimination Chamber match.
Nice.
We'll just kind of get that going, and we'll check in with him, see when a good night could be for him. I'm
Shout
guessing
out, Sean.
everything's kind of set up, so I don't think we necessarily need to wait for Saturday. But we can kind of check in and see if there's a night that worked for him, Greg, and if you can make it work too. So we'll hopefully get our schedules aligned and do that. And then a week from Sunday is Revolution. So we'll kind of predict that. And yeah, then we'll be off and running towards WrestleMania. I cannot believe it already. Oh, and shout out to New Orleans, WrestleMania 42 going there for the third time in
Yeah,
like 10 years, Greg. New Orleans is a good host city for anything, but still kind of waiting when Indy will get it because hopefully that'll be announced down the road. But yeah, we'll enjoy some time in New Orleans if you want to go there for WrestleMania next year. But
yeah, that sounds
that's
like a plan too.
yeah.
Oh, and one more shout out to dude who
Sorry, go ahead.
won the slam dunk contest.
Is that
If
the
you didn't watch that, what's that?
three-time champion, right?
Three-time champion, back to back to back, and those dunks were amazing. So if you didn't see
Literally,
it,
actually over a card this time, unlike Blake Griffin's.
yeah, he went over the car
Yeah,
and slammed it going away. It was amazing.
yeah.
So go watch those dunks if you haven't seen it already. But shout out to that dude. Dude looks like he's like a little taller than Spud Webb and can jump over a building.
I didn't catch
It's
the All Star
awesome.
game. Did you catch the All Star game, Greg? Like the 3 on whatever tournament thing it was on Sunday night.
Yeah,
Okay, what'd you think of it?
I like I like the idea better than what they were doing,
Yeah,
and having games end up 200 to 198,
yeah,
making it more competitive and making them actually play some defense because there's a tournament style
yeah.
going on right there. It's a lot more fun to watch because they're actually putting out effort. So props to them for switching it up and realizing that what they were doing was just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I tuned into the Saturday Night Live 50th thing, so I completely forgot that the All Star game was happening that night, and yeah, I didn't get a chance to check it out. But uh, sounds like there's good ideas there. I think it's all about fine tuning it. But like you said, even if you fine tune it, it doesn't matter if they don't try, right? I mean, that's in any All Star game to sit, special. Like it doesn't matter if you don't put out the effort. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, but anyways. All right. Well, we will end it on that note. We put plenty of effort in today's show, Greg, and we will give you
absolutely.
more effort next week. So enjoy the evening, enjoy the day, and talk to you guys next week.